Hello. So, listen. Today, what I want to do is talk about what my mission is, because I think that I have spoken about it in other videos, but I've rambled on a bit, and there's a good chance that many people who have watched those videos might not have even got to that point. So, I just want to sort of emphasize what what my goal is and how I got to this point. So, essentially, we've been fed information into our brains from day one that we just believe to be true. We don't question it, right? Which is understandable because it's come from, maybe our parents. It's just kind of come from information that's just around school, TV, whatever. And diet is like the biggest one, really, but it's mainly to do with health. Okay, diet being a big factor of that, but there are other elements as well. But diet is the big one, certainly for me. Diet and sleep, at least, how we refuel and recharge. And um, I just want to help people try and change the context, really question things. I'm not. I don't even want to give you the answers. I want to give you the tools, right? And it's not like I woke up one day and just realized that this is what I need to do. I stumbled across this. I was really struggling with my health, like massively. Chronic fatigue syndrome, really bad, like really tired, really like fatigued, brain fog, couldn't think clearly. I was depressed. I was anxious, really miserable. Wasn't enjoying life at all. I tried everything. I was obviously trying to eat well. I was trying to exercise more. I went to the doctors. The doctors basically said, there's nothing we can do. You're just going to have to learn to live with the symptoms." And then it was just by sheer chance and luck. Like, I was very lucky that I managed to stumble across the answer to all of my problems. By the way, I've now got no chronic fatigue symptoms at all. I don't take any medication. It was all down to changing how I refuel and also recharge as well. Um, and what happened with that is that I just stumbled across a podcast that it was it, it was it's basically a long story, but I got diagnosed with peripheral artery disease, which is blocked artery in my leg. And when I was doing research into that, it kind of led me down a rabbit hole that led me to the answer for sorting out my chronic fatigue syndrome. And all it was doing a complete 180 on the food that we've been led to believe is bad for us, and a lot of the food that we've been led to believe is good for us as well. So, for example, um, we are told we should reduce our red meat intake because it gives us there's cancer risk. We should reduce our saturated fat intake because that has an impact on our cholesterol, which then has an impact on our vascular system, heart disease, and things like that. We should be eating plenty of whole grains, plenty of fruit and vegetables, eat the rainbow 5 a day, all of that good stuff. And ultimately, I found a podcast that said maybe you should do the complete opposite to that. So it was basically eat red meat and the fat that comes with it. Eat loads of butter, plenty of butter. Eat don't be scared of cheese and creams and things like that, like full fat stuff, the stuff that we've been kind of in our minds we think is clogging our arteries, similar to like how it would clog a drain. We just think of that, and don't eat. If you're really struggling with your health, perhaps dodge fruit for a while because fruit has got lots of natural sugars in that can spike your blood glucose and things like that. And even like with vegetables, I just stick to cruciferous vegetables, so broccoli, those sorts of things. Eggs. It was a complete 180, and it felt really weird when I changed my diet, when I flipped it, and I just started eating meat, some fish, sockeye salmon mostly, eggs, some cruciferous vegetables, no fruit, obviously no sugary stuff, no grains at all. Get rid of the grains. Um, Plenty of cheese, eggs, and I within a week to 2 weeks, all of my chronic fatigue symptoms went away, like just gone, vanished, done. Anxiety, depression, all gone, like completely gone. And then I used to suffer with acid reflux, like really badly, from a kid, just accepted that it was a thing, gone, like gone. And then weight as well. So at that point, this is in my mid 30s, I was starting to struggle to keep my weight down. I was getting what we call love handles, and all of that just disappeared. And I wasn't diet. I wasn't restricting how much I was eating. I was eating till I was full. All I was doing was eating these foods that we've been told are really bad for us. And at first, I was confused. I went through these phases, right? So I was really confused because I'm eating all these foods that we've been told are really bad for us, and yet I feel amazing. And at this point, I had this kind of like cognitive dissonance because I've got this belief about what is good for us here. I've got this food that I'm eating here that's making me feel really good, and I can't put the two together. They don't fit together. So I was really confused for a while, but I was thinking to myself, well, I'm looking at his food and it tastes amazing, by the way. Loads of fat, loads of cream, loads of whatever cheese, tastes great. But while I was eating it, I'm thinking to myself, this is just going to be so bad for me, and I'm going to be like furring up my arteries and whatever. So, but at that point, I was like, I don't care. I would rather live a shorter life, happy and thriving, than a longer life in misery like I was. So that was an easy decision for me. But it was always there in the back of my mind, like, why? How can this be? How can this unhealthy food be making me feel so good? Well, then it got me to thinking about, well, hang on a minute, like the foods that we're told we shouldn't eat, like red meat, the fats that come with the red meat, butters and things like that. These are all foods that we've been eating as humans that would have been available to humans for hundreds of thousands of years. And then, like when we're told we should eat vegetable oils and spreads and seed oils, like replace the saturated fats, butters, and things like that with these things. Well, all of a sudden, I started thinking, well, with these things, these are highly processed, man-made. Like you cannot make these things just with your bare hands. You need machinery. It's like highly processed. Um, Humans would not have had access to these foods until very, very recently. So all of a sudden, I'm thinking to myself, well, how, like, this doesn't actually make sense. Like, why are we told that these things are more healthy for us when they are completely man-made, would never have been available before? I don't know. All of a sudden, I started, like, my way of thinking was changing, and I was starting to think, question, like what a lot of the dietary advice, like grains, whole grains, seems really natural, like something that grows in a field, seems like a natural product. But again, they're like bread is quite highly processed. Now, bread has been around for apparently, I don't know, 10,000 odd years. The way they used to make it is very much different to the way they make it now. A lot of the gluten, I think, would have been a lot more of a drawn out process. The shelf life on it wasn't as much either. You pretty much had to eat whatever bread you made. You had to eat it within a day, probably. Whereas today they've figured out how to make to have some longevity into it, shelf life on it, and so it's a different product. But even so, it's still highly processed food. And I don't think that beyond 10,000 years ago, I don't think we would have consumed much gluten. If you take some wheat and in its raw form and try and eat it, it's not very nice. It's not nice at all. Um, you would have had to have processed it to make it into flour to then make it into whatever. Breakfast cereals are supposed to be good. We're told breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Breakfast cereals are like, advertised as being these really healthy things. They've been fortified with vitamins and all sorts. And, they just wouldn't have been around. It wouldn't have been a thing. And this whole breakfast being the most important meal of the day is, I reckon, some big marketing campaign. I don't know. It changed when I started thinking in this way. It just made me question a lot of things. And then I went through the phase of like an aha moment to being feeling a bit pissed off, if I'm being honest, because for years I've been struggling with this chronic fatigue that had been getting gradually worse. Like over the years, getting worse and worse and worse. Doctors couldn't help me. Following mainstream advice couldn't help me. And all it was this simple thing about changing everything I knew, just deleting everything I knew about diet and eating in a way that would be more in alignment with our ancestors. And all of a sudden, health went away. And I'm thinking to myself, like, I've gone through like many, many years of suffering, struggling with my health because of misinformation. Because of misinformation. Now, I don't know how we got to that point of misinformation. Well, I kind of do, but it doesn't really matter. We are where we are. And so I started thinking, well, if I'm struggling, well, there must be others that are struggling as well. Because the answer is so obvious, it's so in our face. Yeah, it's like we've got blinkers on. So we've got these blinkers and the answer's here, but we can't see it because all we're seeing is like, oh no, you must eat whole grains, you must, reduce your red meat intake, you must reduce, and all we can see is that. And we're like, oh yeah, that's how we got to live, that's how we got to eat. And it's not. The truth is there, it's right there, but we just can't see it. And so I want to take those blinkers off you and be able to show you that this is the reality. Like, come on, all we need to do is just use a little bit of logic, a little bit of brain power, the brains that we've been blessed with, and just question things ourselves. And it is as simple as, okay, before this crazy world that we live in today, that this is all we know because we've been born into this. This is all we know. So it's understandable. Don't beat yourself up over it, right? It's completely understandable, but this is not normal as how humans have lived on this planet before now. Put yourself in that position, because whether it's diet, whether it's sleep, whether it's electricity or light, all you need to do is be saying to yourself, is this really good for us? Like the way that having electronics in your face at night time when the sun goes down, is that really like healthy? Because our bodies are so in tune with Mother Nature that now that we're living in a world, we're domesticated essentially. Now that we're living in this world where when the sun goes down, we've got lights in the ceiling, we've got lights on the TV, we've got lights on our phones. Do you not think that maybe that's confusing the brain a little bit? I think so. I think it is massively. So that's kind of what I want to do, right? That is my mission, to try and just wait, because people aren't even aware of it. And that's the biggest thing. So if you are trying to improve your health, but you are really struggling, despite doing all of the advice, doing everything that you think or you've been led to believe is the right thing, all I ask for you to do is just question it and put yourself in a position before today's crazy world and just ask yourself the question, is this how humans would have lived? Is this how humans would have eaten before now? And then eat more in alignment with that, right? Eat more in alignment with that. We've got to get back to being in alignment with Mother Nature a bit more. Like humans, we've got so clever, but we've got too clever for our own good. And the advice out there, that whether it's well-meaning or whether there's corruption behind it, I don't know. It's not working for us in a lot of cases. In a lot of cases, it's distracting, and it's keeping people from having the health that they deserve and that they are entitled to. Basic health. Just figure out how to refuel. Ask yourself some real simple questions. How did humans eat before? Right, and refuel your body, because your body, all it has is the food that you give it. That is its sustenance. And if you are feeding it food, sustenance, fuel that is not suitable for humans, it's gonna struggle. And recharge. Again, think about how we would have slept, how we would have rested, how we would have taken a minute during the day before this crazy world, before we had electricity and all of our gadgets and gizmos. It would have been complete darkness. There would have been coolness in the evening. We wouldn't have had baking, heating and things like that. No light whatsoever. No You know, if you've got a mobile phone by your head, those signals are real, man. Like, just think about it. That we wouldn't have had any of that going on. Yeah, just have a think about it and try it. Just give it a try. Like, don't be scared to go against. The doctors are only there to give you advice. NHS is only there to give you advice. You do not have to follow. They are not the law. You can do what you want. You are the boss of you. So you take control of you and what you do. And don't be scared. Just give it a try. You know, if you're happy enough to treat yourself with cake, right, every now and again, then I urge you to treat yourself with some juicy steak and eggs for dinner for a whole week, right? And no processed foods, just real foods, and just see how you feel. Like, trust me, it's a game changer. It is a game changer. And that's what I want to leave you with. So I've still managed to ramble on for 15 minutes, but I hope that that helps you. And gives you some guidance on how to use your own brain. We don't need to just accept things the way they are. We can figure things out for ourselves. We can take back control, take back power. And that's it. I'm going to leave it there. Have a good day, and I'll see you on the next video. Thank you.